what I'd like to do to begin this session is to ask each of the panelists here, beginning first with Dr. Jackson, to share with us very briefly what it was that motivated them and inspired them to dedicate lives to the study of the history of African people. So Brother Jackson, if you can share with our audience briefly.
Well, what inspired me to get into this field is I was born in a little town in South Carolina, Aiken, South Carolina, April 1st, 1907, all Fool's Day, so I've been acting like a fool all my life. And I was told in school and in Sunday school that the white race was superior. In church, they'd have these pictures. God is white. On his right hand is Jesus Christ, who is white, and on the left hand is the Holy Ghost, who is white. A bunch of white angels in the background. And I found out the only black people you could find was down in hell, the devil and all of his angels. So I decided that I preferred to go to hell because I wanted to be with my own people. So I was told that both in school and Sunday school. And there was an old minister there, and I didn't get along with him, so they sent a young minister there. And I told the young minister that his predecessor had said that if I read books on evolution, I was going to hell. I said, of course, I immediately got a book on evolution and read it. And he told me not to worry about it because everybody can't go to heaven. And that if I didn't have to worry about hell, that after the first 1,000,000 years, I'd get used to the heat and then it would be quite pleasant.
Thank you very much. I had the opportunity of speaking with Brother Jackson about 2 years ago. And I remember vividly that very first telephone conversation I had with him. And I was awestruck by his ability to remember dates, names, personalities. He was talking about Malcolm. He was talking about a host of people that I had only read about as if he had just spoken to them yesterday. And I said, we've got to bring this brother to Washington. And I made him a promise that we were going to get him here. Last year, the best we could do was to have him spend 2 hours on the Captain News Morning Show. But today we're very pleased to have him here. And I'd like to say, too, that we also have to acknowledge those who are part of our family who are doing their part to keep this information alive, to work with those brothers and those sisters who have labored so hard to dig out this information. There's a brother here that I would like to acknowledge, Brother Kuji Chakalia. Melanie, second. Could you come out here, please? Could you come out here, please? Come on out here. This is the brother who is the agent of Brother Jackson in Chicago. He was after him, he handled his finances, to keep the brother strong. So modest. This brother's from my hometown, Chicago. I'm from the West Side. And off stage, he talks. I don't know why he's so modest now. But I'd like for you to share with our audience how you came to assume the responsibility of the role for taking care of Brother Jackson. You said that there were 2 individuals who charged you with that mission. Could you share that story with our audience, please?
Jumbo Habaragani brothers and sisters. Africa is the news. Early on in Chicago, on the west side, at a place called the Local Eatery, where we used to share the review of books. The brothers sitting here, Brother John Henrik Clarke and Brother and Dr. ben-Jochannan, told Mr. James to take care of John. I accepted that assignment, that responsibility, that commitment, and I have tried to live up to that. And I guess this is what he's talking about.
That's exactly. Brother Clarke, if you can share with our audience briefly those things that got you started on your path.
I came from a very poor sharecropper family in Union Springs, Alabama. A very religious family. I had a great-grandmother who was occultist Baptist and who couldn't stand Methodists. And so I began very early wanting to teach Sunday school and kind of halfway wanting to end up as a preacher. Some of my students tell me I'm a frustrated Baptist preacher who didn't make it to the pulpit. They could be right. But when I began to look at the Bible and when I began to teach Sunday school, I saw all those white angels, all those white deities, all those white saints. I began to wonder, of all the people who died, brown, yellow, black, none of them got to be angels. And God is love. And He didn't accept any of them. I began to question whether the holy book was really holy, or even honest. I began to search for an answer outside of the book. I began to search for the definition of myself and my people and world. I read an essay called "The Negro Digs Up His Past" for Arthur Schomburg, who taught me the interrelationship of African history to world history. Around 1934, I joined the Harlem History Club that became the Blyden Society. There I met Willis N. Huggins and his brilliant protege, John G. Jackson. And both of them became, in a way, my teachers. And I learned a lot from attending Jackson's forum, his lectures at the Anglo-Saul Forum. I began to learn how to question the literature of the Bible, because I began to read the literature of examination. From Willis Huggins, I learned an invaluable lesson, that is the political meaning of history. And from William Leo Hansberry at Howard University, from his lectures, I learned the philosophical meaning